Hey guys, it's Joy. I'm back again with another video. As you guys can see, I took out my braids. I'm probably going to be getting them again. I like wearing my hair in braids, but you got to give your hair a break. But anyway, you guys, I'm back again with another video. Welcome to the channel. If this is you guys' first time tuning in, my name is Joy. I am a coach for narcissistic abuse. I help people heal, recover, and thrive after narcissistic abuse. I'm also a love oracle and a tarot reader. All right, so today we're going to be doing the topic. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? So we're going to be talking about how to set boundaries with narcissistic parents, or it could be like a narcissistic mother. I'll do like another video in particular about that since I had a narcissistic aunt. How are you doing today, Cheryl? How's your day going? But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. So basically, you kind of want to think about it before you speak when it comes to dealing with narcissistic parents. I don't know if you're living with them or you need to visit them from time to time, or you're not ready to cut them off as of yet, because I know a lot of us, we feel a lot of guilt. We feel a sense of obligation. They took care of us and we just feel like we always need to be there. We can't let them go that easily. I get it. I understand. But you definitely want to make sure that you think out your conversation when you are going to be speaking to your narcissist parents. And this can allow you to set those expectations to know that this person is a narcissist. They're not going to be nice to you. They're not going to be caring and loving. They are going to be condescending. And, you kind of have to just kind of keep that in mind. Know that the conversation is going to go probably not in your best favor, or it's just going to be very manipulative. You know what I mean? So just think before you speak and try not to say anything that's going to get them upset or get them to questioning you. You just want to keep it short and sweet, if that makes sense. So think about your conversation before you go about dealing with your narcissistic parents. All right. Also remember that it's about them. It's never about you. And even this could go for like a male narc that you're dealing with. But understand that, if you are conversating with your parents, let's say you're talking about how your day went, or you're talking just literally about anything. Let's say you still live with your parents. Just know that the conversation is going to go literally back on them. I can give you guys an example. When I used to live with my aunt, that was a narcissist. I remember I'd be talking about like what would be going on, at the job where I used to work at. And then even like at school, I'd be telling her different stories. And, some way, somehow, the story just went back to her. And I get like, when you're conversating with people, yeah, you conversate by hearing them talk, and then you talk, vice versa. But literally the conversation just goes from what I'm talking about. Let's say, I met somebody at school and I saw something that was interesting about them, or maybe I had a fallout with the professor or something like that at school. So I'd be going and telling her about it instead of her listening, instead of her understanding and be like, wow, okay, so kind of tell me more about it, like wanting to really to get to know me. She kind of turns the conversation. It's like, oh yeah, so this is what happened to me, and me, and all that, so it's really literally all about them. And I'll give you guys another example. I remember this was like the second to last time when I had seen my aunt before I broke all contact with her. We were at it was for her birthday. It was like a birthday dinner. And you guys know what she said. We had all been like drinking. It wasn't like nothing serious where we got tipped. She probably was tipsy, but everyone else was kind of just having a good time, just kind of, just enjoying her birthday, And so she was all like, during this time, she kept saying, oh yeah, it's all about me. It's my birthday. Turn the attention on me. You know what I mean? So just kind of being very self-centered and, just wanting all the attention, making sure she was noticed. And mind you, this was like a quiet, pretty conservative restaurant that we went to. And what was pretty cool about it, I forgot the name of it too. It's been so long since I've been there. I know that it's in is it in Santa Monica? It's either in Santa Monica or Hawthorne, somewhere like that. But anyway, it was a nice, pretty fancy restaurant, and only thing, everybody's just kind of chatting it up, just talking about regular stuff, and she's all talking about, yeah, it's my birthday. It's all about me, 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 me. It's my day, my day. Talk about me. And I was just looking at her like, okay, like that was just weird, So, yeah, but just remember, if you're having a conversation, expect it to turn back to them. All right. And you also want to keep your answers short and sweet to avoid giving away too much information, because you guys know, and again, this could go when this happens when you're dating a narcissist, same thing, but we're talking about parents today. But any information that you give to the narcissist, they literally will use that against you. So you don't want to overshare too much information, because it can come back to you and they will turn it around and try to twist your words. So just be careful with that. Another thing is you might want to refuse to be interrogated or refuse to be questioned, like, you did something wrong. Narcissist is always like trying to investigate and trying to figure out what information they can find to use against you. I see a bird outside my door. It's in my yard. It's a cute one though. It's a cute bird. But anyway, yeah, narcs, what they like to do, they like to overwhelm you. They like to make you feel uncomfortable, especially your parents, so that you can't think straight. And they usually do that with questions. They try to ask you a whole bunch of questions and to get all of your information. But what you can start to do, especially when it comes to your parents, what would be good is to answer questions that you want to answer, and you might want to not answer the questions that you don't feel comfortable answering, especially if it's coming from your parents. So that would be a way in which you can set boundaries, because you're kind of teaching your parent, like, hey, don't ask me those kinds of questions. I don't want you to know that. That's really none of your business. You know what I mean? You kind of want to be stern and firm and direct in that instance. And yeah, but don't be mean, you know what I mean? But just be like, okay, if they ask me that question, I don't really want to answer that. You don't necessarily have to say that. I mean, you can if you want, but you just want to answer the question that you feel most comfortable answering, and just kind of ignore the question that you don't want your parent to know. You know what I mean? Another thing is how you can set boundaries with your narcissistic parents is reject any verbal assaults or any verbal things that they might say to you that make you feel bad. So for instance, a lot of the narcissistic parents, the narcissistic mother, I would say, likes to put their siblings or like to put their children against each other so they can feel powerful, so they can feel like, oh, I'm the superior one, or I'm the one that's looking down on all of you guys. And let me know if this makes sense to you guys as well. Let me know. It's my smoothie I made earlier. But yeah, they like to pin their children against each other. But a lot of them, especially when they're seeing you're trying to be independent, you're not really trying to be under them anymore, or you don't want them to control too much of your life because they love doing that. But they might say things to you like, oh, you're lazy, or, oh, your sibling is so successful, or your cousin is more successful, or why didn't you get this grade, or why didn't you get that grade, or I invested so much into you, trying to make you feel guilty. You know what I mean? So you kind of just want to be mindful of that when they say that. And then when they do say something like that, you want to say, hey, that was not cool to say that, or that was inappropriate. I didn't appreciate that, or something like that. And then, just kind of follow up with a compliment, just because you want to set that boundary. Like, you're not going to be accepting those type of comments. Oh, hey, Miss Rose, how are you? I'm happy that this makes perfect sense. But yeah, and so Miss Rose, do you have narcissistic parents, or do you know other people that have narcissistic parents as well? But yeah. And so the next way you can start to set boundaries with your narcissistic parents is, be free of the victimization, meaning, yeah, you are a victim, but at the same time, don't fall for their tactics, meaning, if you notice that something that they're doing is saying is feel uncomfortable, you might want to just be like, don't go with it. Don't go along with what they got going on, don't let them use you. Don't let them control you or manipulate you in any way. You know what I mean? But yeah, you are a victim. Unfortunately, I felt like, yes, I was victimized by my aunt and the guy that I dated. But at the same time, I am a survivor. I overcame it. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. I did want to let you guys know one more thing here. I was actually doing my research too. I got from my own advice, but here and there I like to get additional resources, you guys. And please feel free, if you guys had any experiences with narcissistic parents, let me know. But yeah. So, and Miss Rose says, hey girl, I'm good. I'm familiar with people who behave this way, especially with their adult. Yes. And my aunt, I'm telling you guys, I made another live, but I decided not to post it. I wanted to save it for this one, but I wanted to tell you guys about what else my aunt did to me when this was the second meeting before I broke all contact with her. And before I get into that, I wanted to tell you guys another way that you can set your boundaries is you can decide the kind of contact you want to have, where it's limited contact, where it's conditional contact, or it's just completely no contact at all. So you guys can kind of decide which is best for you. Me personally, in the beginning, when I first started out, it was more so conditional contact. So it was like we were only get together when, it was family events, or it was my birthday, or if it was her birthday. That was the kind of contact we had. And then it was limited contact when I was staying with her, in a sense, because I didn't know it was narcissistic abuse, but I knew that something was off with her. So a lot of the times I just stay in my room. I didn't really talk to her as much. If I knew that she was downstairs, I would be upstairs doing my own thing. And, I would only be around her when it was necessary. Maybe it was around dinner time. I'd say a few things to her and then I'd go about my business. But when I went completely no contact was, I knew for a fact that she was abusing me, and that was not cool. But I will share with you. So the time, it was her birthday, and she's a Capricorn, by the way. And so it was, we went to, I believe the place was called, what was it? Was it called Norman's? I think it was a really nice restaurant, whatever. They have, when you eat dinner there, they have the lights dim. So it makes it kind of romantic. It's pretty cool. And so she was at the table, you guys. All of us, we had drinks and we was having a good time. Everybody was just vibing. And I believe it was my aunt, her husband, both of my cousins were there. And then one of my cousin's girlfriend was there. And then this had been when I had already moved out, And so she was all like, oh, Joy. She was like, how you been doing? And I was like, I'm good. She was like, oh, are you still a vegetarian? Because I don't really eat meat. I haven't eaten meat since 2010. And that's a whole nother story I'm going to tell you guys about. But I know a lot of you guys probably didn't know that about me either. But yeah, I don't eat meat. But she was all like, oh, so what kind of vegetables do you eat? Or she was like, or do you know what kind of vegetables this is? And I was like, no. She was like, shouldn't you know that? Are you really a vegetarian? She was questioning what I was doing with my life, or what I'm doing, my lifestyle that I'm living or whatever. And she was like, yeah, you should be on that a little bit more. And then I didn't really respond to that. I kind of brushed it off. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm doing my thing. I'm still learning about it. So, I'm getting better with it. And I just brushed it off, and then she came back around because I guess her son, he started working out more, and so his muscles is up here, and, he's 9 years older than me. And then apparently he was working out at the gym more. And she was like, oh, look at so-and-so's muscles. And she was like, Joy, like, where's your muscles? Like, aren't you supposed to be fit? Where are they at? And everyone kind of laughed. So she was like, kind of like trying to embarrass me and try to make me feel some kind of way, so they do little things like that. And then, but one of the things that I noticed though, I kind of felt like I knew what was up with her. Like I was catching on to her. You know what I mean? Miss Rose, while she was trying to embarrass you in front of them and make you, yeah, she was. She was, Miss Rose. And she was trying to make me question what I was doing with my life and try to make it seem like what I was doing was wrong, or I was on, like, I should follow them, because literally I was the only person that wasn't eating meat, and I'm sticking with it. Like, if it makes me feel good, I feel a sense of wholeness and healthiness, then I'm gonna stick with what I got going on. And literally to this day, she like tells people like, oh yeah, she doesn't eat meat anymore, and I don't understand why. It's like, why do you care? It's my life. Don't worry about me. You know what I mean? Right, Miss Rose? But here's the thing. So like all of that happened, and she was kind of doing that to everybody, like trying to embarrass them, say little jokes and stupid stuff like that. And so by the end of the night, all of us, we enjoyed it, right? We had a good time. But as we was like hugging each other or whatever towards the end, we was like, oh, we'll see you next time. And so I was hugging my cousin. I had already given her a hug. By the way, it was like a fake hug anyway. And I gave my cousin a hug, but I noticed my aunt's face in front of me. And she gave me this look. I'm going to try to give you guys the look. She was like this. Like, I'm gonna get you. It was like she was giving me like this stare. I don't know if you guys ever noticed like the stare that the narcissist gives to you, but she gave me this stare like, I'm gonna get you. That was like this evil look. Have you experienced that too, Miss Rose, or anybody else that's in the room? Like, she gave me that look, and I don't know, it made me feel really uncomfortable, but I never said nothing. But yeah, but by that time, I didn't know she was a narc. I was still kind of getting the feel for everything. But yeah, that really turned me off. And then when I knew for sure she was a narc, that last meeting that we had. And this, I never shared this with you guys, so I kind of want to share it with you. So basically, it was around Christmas time, or it was like the beginning of like the end of 2014 going into 2015. That's when I went no contact with her in 2015. And so basically, she was pretending as if she was trying to make sure that I was doing good in my life. And she was trying to be a parent. She said that she saw me as her daughter. I'm her niece, but she's not my mom. And so, she was just checking in. She's like, oh, how's everything going? Have you been looking for work? Because, I used to live in California, and, I was still dealing with the hurt that the narc caused. So I was still trying to get myself together, and she knew like what happened to me. And that was another thing or reason I could tell she didn't really care about me, nor did she love me, because when I told her how I felt so lonely after it happened and how I felt so hurt, how I felt so isolated, she was just like, yeah, I understand how you feel. But it was not really like that emotional. I could tell like she really didn't care, because she didn't really ask me more questions about it. So like, if you're telling somebody, if you're talking to someone that's hurting and they're telling you their situation, you're gonna be like, okay, like you want to know more, like you want to like comfort them and try to make them feel better. But I did not get that from her at all. And if anything, I almost heard like a chuckle in her voice. Like she was happy that I was hurting. That's how a lot of narcissists are, because they like, when you're in pain, they're happy because they're miserable anyway. So if someone else is suffering around them, they love that. And they're behind the scenes trying to destroy you, trying to do things that, they know is going to upset you, and they love it. But anyway, so I kind of lost my train of thought, y'all. But I forgot what I was saying. So with my aunt, oh yeah, so we were in the car. And yeah, Miss Rose, you still here with me? Okay, good. So yeah, we were in the car, and basically, I was telling her about the jobs that I was wanting to start to do, or basically like my plan that I wanted to implement. And she was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should do that. I think you should do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, no, I don't agree. And literally, you guys, it got to the point where we were shouting at each other. We were kind of raising our voice, and she got all bent up out of shape, and I did the same. But she was kind of looking for me to get that way because she was already, it seemed like she was pissed off anyway. So she was trying to take that out on someone. And I guess I was unfortunately the person that she was taking it out on. But meanwhile, again, she was just like, oh, I told her, I said, I don't like how you're talking to me. And she was like, oh, well, I'm just trying to be a parent, or I see you as my daughter and I'm only looking out for your best interest. And I'm like, it doesn't seem that way. I said, I don't feel that way. I literally say that, you guys. And I was younger, like I'm 31 now, and I was really standing up to her. I'm like, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my aunt. You're not going to talk to me this way, And I don't care how much stuff you did to me. I know, like, I thanked you for everything that you've done based on, where I had came from, but you're not going to treat me this way. I don't care who you are. But anyway, so you guys, I ended up telling her that I wanted to go home. I no longer wanted to go to the mall. She was going to fake buy me a Christmas gift. She was basically just trying to see if she could still control me. But so basically, we ended up going inside of the mall. We just walked around a little bit. And you guys know what she ended up telling me. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but she basically told me that she regrets having children so early. She regrets getting married so early. She said that her brother used to bully her when she was younger, when they used to go to school. She said that, she would be embarrassed when she went to school with her shoes not fully covering her foot. She would get teased by people in school, and even more so by her brother, which is why she always kind of had like a big disdain for her. I think he was her older brother. Yeah. And so I'm just thinking, like, so is that the reason why you're taking out all of your mess out on me? Because I'm just here innocent and you just feel like, oh, well, I want her to feel my pain too. You know what I mean? I don't think that's cool at all. But unfortunately, that's what narcissists do. But so yeah, and long story short, I just told her, I said, I'm ready to go. I don't want to be around you. And yeah, and so again, I'm still kind of letting her know how I felt like, again, when she used to criticize me, when she asked me to do little things around the house. I told her how Miss Rose said they do relish in the pain of, yes, Miss Rose, definitely, most definitely. But yeah, so as we're getting in the car, she was just like, oh yeah, I'm sorry you feel this way. And it wasn't like a sincere apology. I want to do another video where I talk about narcissists never apologize. It's never like legit. It's never a real apology. It's just like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way. But it's not like, I'm sorry, I see where you're coming from. I see that I'm wrong. Like, yeah, I took my frustrations out on you. You didn't deserve that. And I'm truly, truly, really sorry. But no, I'm sorry you feel that way. Come on now. Like, really? And at the time, again, I was a lot younger than I was now, and I didn't really understand narcissistic abuse. So I felt really hurt. I felt betrayed. I felt like that was wrong. And still today, I feel like it's wrong, but I don't really let it affect me like that anymore because I understand what I'm dealing with. So that's kind of like where that comes. And in that moment, that's when I was like, I'm going no contact. There's no contact happening ever again between me and her. And people look at me funny. Even like my dad, like I try to tell him the story. He really doesn't understand it. I don't think my dad is a narcissist, but I'm going to be honest, and God rest her soul. But I think my grandmother could have been a narcissist, and she kind of pushed that attitude on her children. And I think it was because, and I didn't share this either. I'm sharing all my information, but it is what it is. I want you guys to know the real me, so you know that I'm real, I'm authentic, and I don't hold nothing back. But maybe this can help someone else that could be dealing with narcissistic parents. I don't know. But my grandmother had 9 children. She had 5 boys and 4 girls. And after her last daughter Oh no, wait, was it no, her son was the last one. I think she was supposed to have 10, but one of them died. But she had 9 children altogether. The last child was my uncle. And so this is what happened, you guys. My grandmother, she was a Pisces. That probably has nothing to do with it, but Pisces are very dramatic and they love drama and they like to stir up stuff. Like, I don't know, for some reason Pisces are like that all over the place. But anyway, my grandpa ended up meeting another lady with the same name as my grandmother, right? And ended up moving to another state to live with this woman and had a child and left all of the children for my grandmother to raise them basically on her own. Can you guys believe that? And I'm gonna be honest, I think that's kind of what made my grandmother bitter. And she kind of gave her children that kind of mentality and pushed that onto them, and it made them narcissistic. That's what I honestly think. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm really starting to conclude, because I'm just like, how did they get like this? And this is how I'm going to tell you guys why I think she might have been narcissistic. Just to kind of talk about my grandma. And like I said, God rest her soul. She was a good woman though. But I remember when I was younger, my grandmother, we all grew in Delaware. I'm a Delaware native. And so pretty much my aunt, the one that abused me, she was looked up to. A lot of people, I mean, she had good jobs all the time. She made a lot of money. She was married young and had children, all that stuff. And she ended up moving to California. She's still there, I believe. But it's like my grandmother would compare my aunt, her children, to her other children's children. So there would be times when my aunt was visiting my grandma and my dad was there, and my grandma would be like, "Oh, well, look at Larry and Joy." That was my brother's name was Larry, the one that passed away. But she was like, "Well, why aren't they like so and so's children?" And I think my dad would get upset because he's probably thinking like, "Why is she comparing like his children to my aunt's children? That we're different. We're nothing like each other. So why would she do that?" You know what I mean? Or say like, "Oh, her house is better than your house," or "Why are you living in this town where you should be in this town?" Just like really trying maybe to make him feel bad. I don't know what the heck was going on, but I know that it wasn't right. That's for sure. You know, and so narcissistic parents, they do that to their children. You know, and I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong, and yeah. So hopefully, does that help you guys? Let me know. And I'm going to open up the chat. If you guys want to ask me any questions about narcissistic abuse, or if y'all want to share y'all story about how, you know, you overcame a narcissistic parent, or how you're trying to overcome a narcissistic parent, or you need advice or anything like that, let me know. I'm going to stay in the room for a few more minutes. But yeah, you guys, it was a lot. And especially with my aunt, I just think it was wrong on all aspects, especially because, again, the story was this. When I was 17 years old, Miss Rose says, "Yep, they do a lot of comparison. How long have y'all been no contact?" Oh, so my aunt and I have not been in contact since 2015. So 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 5 years. 5 years. I have not contacted her. And what's funny is my dad, he reached out to her to like let them, because I just moved into my own place. I had to get away from my dad. I don't think my dad is a narcissist. He might be, but I'm not really getting that feeling. He probably is just, he grew up around my grandmom, and she low-key could have been narcissist. I don't know, maybe. But my dad, he got his ways about him. And I couldn't be around him. I needed my own space. But anyway, my dad, he ended up telling, it might have either been my dad or my uncle. My dad and my uncle, they lived together. But I think my uncle reached out to my aunt, the one that lives in California, the one that abused me, and said that, "Oh yeah, Joy has her own place," and da 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 da. I'm thinking like, why the fuck are you telling her? Excuse my language, y'all. Like I don't care about her. I don't want her to know what I'm doing. And another thing too is I never mentioned, but I had dreams about her. Like y'all, a lot of us, we have night terrors about the narcissist, especially with my the borderline that I was dealing with. I think God was trying to tell me like, all right, let this go. He's not the one for you. You see all these negative things happening to you. You see all these circumstances. I'm showing you in your dreams. And I would see like all these like fire and dragons and monsters, like all sorts of crazy stuff in my dreams. And I think again, God was telling me to let this person go. But back to my aunt, I remember there was like a message that I seen in my dream where she had tagged me into it. It was my old number. I had a 714 number. That's a California number. And in my dream, it was like she was trying to contact me, but she didn't reach out to me in particular, but it was like a group message where she tried to include me into it. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. And she had like this weird smile on her face where like she smiled, but her eyes look crazy. Like you guys ever like look at somebody and tell they're crazy? Like you could just look in their eyes and see like they're crazy as fuck. But yeah, like that's what happened. And so yeah, I've been no contact with her for 5 years. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I felt bad about doing it. I felt guilty because again, yeah, she did help me. Like where I had came from in Delaware, I was hurt about my brother being killed, and I didn't know where to turn. And I had the option of I'm here now with my dad in Rockford, but I was a lot younger. You said that narc stare. Yeah, it's like I had that narc stare. It was twice. So like, well, multiple times from my male narc that I dated. It's like this gaze that they give you. It's like an evil like stare. Like if you haven't experienced it, like you might not understand, but it's like they're looking at you as if you're a piece of meat, or they're looking at you as if they want to like get you, like they're going to hurt you or to try to destroy you. It's like one of those like evil looks. Like and I'll give you guys an example. So like the guy I was seeing, yeah, Miss Rose, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I remember this was a time when he was trying to get me to be basically like a side chick, be okay with being a side chick. And like I said, I was 21 at the time. I'm 31 now. But when I think the whole day he was trying to get me to accept that. And there would be one point in time where he'd literally just look in my eyes. And the one time we did it, it was a stare. It was almost like a stare off. And I didn't blink. He didn't blink. We was literally just looking into each other's eyes. And at first I was like, oh, maybe this is him showing his love for me. But then I was like, okay, this is getting really uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It was not cute. It wasn't sexy. It was none of that. It was just like, well, damn, is he seeing me as a piece of meat? Is he trying to eat me up? Like, what the fuck? Like, so yeah, it's like a demonic stare. It's like they're looking inside of you. Like, I don't know. It was very weird. I never experienced it with anybody I ever dated. And still today, I haven't had that experience. So I know for sure, he was a narc. And as I said, when it came to my aunt, that second time before the last time that I ever saw her again, she just gave me this evil look like, I'm going to get you. And it was just, that's not normal. That is not normal, And another thing, I look back and I'm just like, when you are around your family or friends or people that love you and care about you, they're not supposed to make you feel bad. You're not supposed to feel like, oh, my energy is drained, or, oh, like, I don't feel good about myself, or I'm like second guessing myself, or am I really doing the right thing? Or it's almost like a form of like gaslighting almost. It's like you're questioning your own like judgment. You know what I mean? And it's making you go crazy. You're like, well, damn, is the narcissist right? Or am I right? Or am I the narcissist? Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's what I have to talk about today. Hopefully, this can help someone out there. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you guys are interested in working with me one-on-one, or if you just want more help and advice with how to set boundaries with your narcissistic parent, a narcissistic ex, or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me, visit my website, or email me at livenarcfree9@gmail.com. I love to help you. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Make sure you guys give this video a like. All right, bye guys.